How to configure OMEN Light Studio. Hi, I'm JP, and today I'll show you how to use OMEN Light Studio. The first thing to know is that OLS isn't included with the OMEN Gaming Hub or the OGH app, so let's grab that quickly. In the OGH app, click the download icon on the Light Studio option in the navigation pane on the left, then click Install on the info dialog box. By the way, once it's installed, you launch OLS from the same place. While that's happening, now's a good time to think about how you want to lay out the RGB devices you're going to include in your lighting effects display. There are plenty of supported devices you can use to light your gaming space. They're listed on the OLS site, but today we're focusing on configuring our OMEN desktop and these three RGB accessories: the OMEN sequencer keyboard, the OMEN reactor mouse, and a twinkly flex light strip. There we go, OLS is installed. Let's go ahead and close the What's New info box and get started. We'll skip the tutorial and begin setting up a lighting style for our supported hardware, which is way more fun. You use the Layout tab to reflect the actual physical location of your RGB devices. It's a great help for visualizing the lighting pattern you want to create for your devices. So the desktop doesn't move much, and we know what lighting it can pump out. We'll just click and drag it over here to the right of our lighting space. You can even rotate its position using the rotate handle at the top of the selection box, and it's the same for all your devices. Okay, now let's move the keyboard here and the mouse here. We'll come back and add the twinkly flex last. That looks about right. Now let's add some lighting style to our devices, which you do here on the Effects tab. You can add, edit and delete lighting effects using layers, which are shown in this pane. And you choose the lighting effects for a layer from this drop-down menu. The default layer is titled Wave, with the wave lighting effect. But we don't do default, so let's change it up. Before we start picking lighting effects, let's think about our lighting zones. The desktop has several, as does the keyboard, and devices can be grouped together to create one lighting zone. You can select lighting effects for individual zones, multiple zones, or all zones using either the free selection tool, the marquee tool, or simply by choosing the device. I know, brilliant, isn't it? But let's keep it simple. One device, one lighting effect, which means we need to create 3 new layers. We'll use the marquee tool to select each of the 3 devices. So, to create a new layer for a device, click the button, choose the edit icon, type the layer name, in this case keyboard, and press enter. Notice how the default lighting effect for a new layer is static, and the default static color is OMEN red. Okay, let's go ahead and name the rest of the layers. We'll leave the wave layer for now because we'll rename it when we add the twinkly flex light strip. So now we have 3 layers, but all with the same static default lighting effect. Let's fix that. We'll choose a different lighting effect for each layer, one for each device, starting with the mouse. Select its layer and then click the Effects drop-down menu. We'll select the blinking effect. By default, the primary and secondary colors are red and yellow. You change this using the color editor, which you access by clicking the color square. So let's pick green and blue and make the speed, say, 70%. Next, we'll do the desktop layer. Let's select Audio Visualizer. This effect reflects any audio playing on your PC. You can choose to have power bars or waveform. We'll go for waveform. And instead of using 2 solid preset colors, we'll choose the multiple colors for the gradient option. Finally, the keyboard. Make sure we select the layer, then navigate to Effects. And for this lighting effect, we'll do something a little different. Select the ambient effect, then choose the entire screen drop-down and select Foreground app. This ties the lighting effect to whatever app you have playing in the foreground on your screen. A game, a YouTube video, a movie, etc. And the keyboard LEDs will illuminate to reflect the action on the screen. Okay, before we step back and admire our handiwork, let's add one more lighting device, that twinkly flex I mentioned earlier. So to add a new device to your OMEN Light Studio setup, you use the Manage Other Devices tab. Click the tab, then click the Add New Light Group button. Now before you click the twinkly icon, there's a detour needed if you don't have a Twinkly account, which you need to configure the flex light in OLS. So if you haven't already created an account in twinkly.com, now's the time. Click the login button to navigate to the site. So I'm a Twinkly account holder and I've gone ahead and signed in. Once I do that, OGH can see the device. Choose the assigned Twinkly_OFA BOD name for your Twinkly Flex Light strip, and then click the Assigned Lights button to connect to the OLS app. Now navigate back to the Layout tab, and there it is, the Twinkly Flex Light. Let's move it to better reflect its actual position. Now let's reset the lighting effect on the Effects tab. Select the wave layer and rename it. Next, use the Marquee tool to choose the flex and navigate to the Effects drop-down menu. Something gentle perhaps. Let's try breathing. And instead of picking just two colors, let's go with a random color for both the primary and secondary colors. Just click the check boxes and that's it. Time to see what this all looks like in the real world.